Hello, YouTube. Today on the Naughty Librarian, I'm bringing you a book haul. I haven't done one of these for like a hot minute, but like I have been just piling up books. And honestly, I just want to put the books away. Like every time I get a book, I keep it in a big pile because I'm like, oh, I should film a book haul. And then the pile gets just like too much, and then like I just keep dwelling on the pile of books, and then my brain just spirals into anxiety. So anyway, hi, let's have an anxiety-filled book haul. First up, I have Brighter Than the Moon by David Valdez. I didn't request this, it just kind of showed up at my house one day. So, it got sent to me by Bloomsbury. It's YA. It seems kind of fun. Basically, it's kind of IRL versus in reality. There's this shy foster kid named Jonas, and he is like best internet friends with this vlogger named Shawnee, and Shawnee wants to meet in real life, but Jonas has been like maybe lying a bit about his identity, and then like Shawnee gets her best friend Ash to like look in on Jonas, and then Ash falls in love with Jonas too. So now there's like a love triangle, and everybody's keeping secrets, and it's all like online. It reminds me of like back in the day, like AIM, AIM. I am an old. But it reminds me of that when you're talking to too many people at the same time. And but yeah, so Brighter Than the Moon by David Valdez. It seems it's gonna be delightfully messy. Also sent to me by the publisher is Where Black Stars Rise by Nadia Shamas and Marie Enger. And this was sent to me by Tor Nightfire, and it seems really, really cool. It's a graphic novel, and the art is like so colorful and interesting, so I love that. This deals with like a lot of topics, and I'm low-key obsessed. So first of all, it deals with like the immigrant experience. Second of all, it deals with like mental health. Third, it has eldritch horrors. So I'm like, okay, tell me more. You had me at eldritch horror. So you have Amal, who is kind of a therapist in training, also a Lebanese American immigrant. And she has a client named Yasmin, who's a schizophrenic, who keeps seeing malevolent forces that maybe aren't hallucinations, maybe they're real. And then she has to help Yasmin. She goes kind of down a literal rabbit hole. Well, not literal rabbit hole, but like she goes into a new dimension. There's eldritch horrors here, and I'm like crazy about it. I think it's going to be really, really cool. I haven't read it yet, but I'm like so excited. I think it's going to be so cool. Also from Tor, I got a copy of The Spare Man by Mary Robinette Kowal. And I am obsessed with this one. This is like sarcastic space noir, and I'm like loving it. I am so excited to read this. So we have Tesla Crane, right? She is an inventor slash heiress, and she is on her honeymoon. She's like low-key and really enjoying it because she's being incognito. No one's following her. She just gets to like blend in, right? Except there's a murder. And the people who run security have the audacity to arrest her spouse. So now she has to like, okay, well, I gotta go solve this murder so I can get back to my honeymoon. Damn it. And also, you know, stop a murderer, that too, but mainly my honeymoon. I love it. I'm in love with it. I can't wait to read this. It sounds so funny, so sarcastic, space noir. Love it. Also, oh my gosh, Tor was so nice to send me a copy of Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. I have been wanting to read this so bad. Like, so bad? So bad. So we're following Viv. She's an orc who wants to hang up her sword. She's been on plenty of adventures, plenty of battles. She's done with that. She just wants to open a nice little bakery. Have a go at that. And, you know, there's also people standing in her way of that. And also maybe some, like, romance with this like tiefling on the cover, which I'm also obsessed with. Is basically a high fantasy novel with very low stakes, and I love that. I want like a cozy coffee shop rom-com fantasy adventure. All of it sounds amazing. I am very excited to read this. So thank you so much, Tor, for sending me a copy. I'm obsessed. I also got a couple of pre-order books that finally came in. I'm pretty excited about. I got my copy of A Very Merry Bromance by Lisa K. Adams. This is the most recent entry in the Bromance book club series, and I love this series. It's so fun. There's 0% toxic masculinity. Love that. So in this one in particular, we're following Colton and Gretchen. Colton, kind of bad boy country music star kind of thing. Gretchen, kind of buttoned up immigration attorney. How are these crazy kids going to make it work? Basically, they had gone out for a little bit. It wasn't a good fit. They had broken up. And then Gretchen's family owns like this whiskey line. And they're like, oh, if Colton like backs our whiskey line, we'll make a bunch of money. You should ask him. And she's like, ugh, fine. And so she does. And he's like, okay, I'll do the whiskey thing if you go on more dates with me. And then romance. And also Christmas. It's a Christmas one. I am obsessed because like every romance book club kind of takes a romance genre trope and works it into the story because it's about a group of men who read romance novels in order to be better men and more understand the women in their lives. So each book is like a different romance genre, and they haven't done a holiday romance genre one, and we're getting it, and I'm obsessed. I can't wait. I'm gonna read this for the holidays, period. It's happening. I also finally got my copy of The World We Make by N.K. Jemisin, and this is the sequel to The City We Became, which I was obsessed with. Love it so much. I could not wait for the sequel. As soon as I finished reading City We Became, I immediately pre-ordered this book. I needed it so bad. So the basic idea here, since this is a book 2, is going to be a continuation story. Basically in the world we live in, when cities grow to the point where they have millions of people with their dreams and thoughts and beliefs, etc., all combined in this one area, it kind of makes the city into its own living entity. The city is born, and the city usually has an avatar. And that's great. Wow, living cities in the form of an avatar, super cool. However, not cool to everybody. There's also like interdimensional Lovecraftian demons that try to stop it from happening. So there's that too. And this one, we're dealing with New York, and it's 5 boroughs, each have its own avatar, and they kind of band together to save the day. And the battle is still continuing here. So I am so excited to read this. I love The City We Became so much. I'm fully expecting this to be a 5-star read. And I don't care I'm overhyping it because I feel like it's already worth the hype. I'm so happy that I have this in my hand. So one more like random book I just happened to pick up was Colonel's Son by Kingsley Amis. This is the first James Bond sequel book that was printed after Ian Fleming had passed away. And Kingsley Amis was brought in to continue the series. And Colonel's Son kind of gives me like Skyfall vibes, where like M is kidnapped, James has to save the day. Loving all of that. It has so many vibes that I'm super into. And if you guys didn't already know this, I am like a huge James Bond nerd. Like a huge James Bond nerd. So I haven't read the books that aren't by Ian Fleming yet, so I have been trying to collect them. The problem is most, if not almost all of them are out of print. So it's very hard to find them. I have had some luck with like used book sales from the libraries or regular used bookstores, but you have to hunt. And I have not had a lot of luck, but I've had a little bit of luck. Luckily, they just reprinted this one recently, so it's not completely out of print, and it's such a pretty cover, and I love it, and I'm just really excited to see where James Bond goes when it's not Ian Fleming at the helm. And this big chonker of a stack is a bunch of books I got from Book of the Month Club. They've been piling up, so it's like 2 months worth of books. First of all, oh my God, I have Bloodmarked by Tracy Deonn. This is the second book in the Legendborn series, and I loved Legendborn. It was one of those books I read, and I finished the last page and went, hot damn, that's phenomenal. Like, it's so freaking good, and I have been obsessed with the sequel. And I had pre-ordered it, and then when I saw the Book of the Month had it, I got it from Book of the Month because my Legendborn is also from Book of the Month, and for some reason, having the continuity of having both the books from them did something for me. So anyway, I ended up getting it from Book of the Month instead. But yes, I am obsessed with this. Basically, it is a King Arthur-like retelling, but it's modern day. And essentially, like, the Knights of the Round Table and King Arthur and stuff, they had Merlin cast, like, a spell of some kind, and now they can come back as, like, an avatar with their living descendants now. They can be, like, their avatars, basically. And I won't get into any more, since this is book 2, and also a honker of a book. How thick is this? Let's see. Okay, so this is 551 pages. So it's a chonker of a book. I'm still super pumped to read this. I am obsessed with this series. It's so good. It's just like a 5-star prediction. I would be very surprised if it's not a 5-star read. I also finally got a copy of Velvet Was the Night by Silvia Moreno Garcia. And like I had reservations about it at first because this is supposed to be like neo-noir, and like noir is such a hard genre for me in general. I don't often like it. And this is like 70s noir, so it's like neo-noir, new version of it. But like it's such a specific genre and kind of gritty that I was like, I want to try it out, especially because it's Silvia Moreno Garcia, and like she has written some incredible books that I've absolutely adored. So I was like, all right, let's go. I'm going to give it a whirl. Basically, this is 70s Mexico. There's political upheaval, student activists and stuff. And we're following our main girl, and her neighbor goes missing. And there's this criminal guy who's also looking for the neighbor. So this girl and the criminal, they're both looking for the neighbor, and like it's all gonna come to a head. And I don't know, it's 70s like Mexico neo-noir Silvia Moreno Garcia. I was vibing with it at this moment because like I've really liked a lot of stuff by Silvia Moreno Garcia. So I'm trying out a genre I normally wouldn't pick up just because I like the author. I also picked up a copy of White Horse by Erica T. Worth. So we're following Carrie. She's a very modern indigenous woman. She loves heavy metal. She likes going for drinks at the bar, Stephen King novels, the whole jam. And then one day her cousin finds like Carrie's mother's old bracelet, and she's like, oh wow. So she takes it, and it calls up not only Carrie's mother's ghost, but also a monstrous entity with it. So she has some problems she needs to deal with. So she basically needs to find out what actually happened to her mother all those years ago when she passed away. What really happened? Was she murdered? Was it involved with this monstrous entity? What's going on here? I don't know if it's like, if this monstrous entity is going to be like a metaphor for something else. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't read it, but like I'm digging the horror vibe of this. Like, doesn't it look like a cool like horror story? Like I'm really obsessed with this cover. It's so awesome. But yeah, it's an author I haven't read before, and I hadn't heard of this book before. So thank you, Book of the Month Club, for putting this on my radar because I'm like obsessed with it, and I can't wait to read it. It sounds so cool. I also picked up a copy of Sign Here by Claudia Lux. And this one sounds so sardonic, so funny. I'm obsessed with it. Like the first line of the blurb is just perfect. So it says, a darkly humorous, surprisingly poignant, and utterly gripping debut novel about a guy who works in hell, literally, and is on the cusp of a big promotion if only he can get one more member of the wealthy Harrison family to sell their soul. Dun dun dun. It's very much like a working stiff in hell situation. And I'm like, I love that vibe. It gives me Doomed by Chuck Palahniuk vibes. I don't know if you guys have read that, but same kind of vibe of like working stiffs in hell. And I'm obsessed. I think this is going to be so fun. I've just been like vibing with like funny horror lately. Is it just me? But I'm like just way into like sarcastic, funny horror stories. Is that like its own genre? I'm not sure, but like I'm really vibing with them right now. I also finally got a copy of Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. And this one, I mean, it's an older book. I haven't read, but like I read Blake Crouch's most recent release and enjoyed it, so I kind of want to go and do the back catalog. But Dark Matter, I think, is his most well-known book. It's kind of like parallel universes, trying to get back to your own universe after you've been kidnapped into another one. I don't really know more than that, and I kind of want to go in blind. Just because, like, I don't want to know what to expect. I don't want to know. I want the mystery to remain. So, yes, very excited about it. Obviously, this is probably his hit book. A lot of people really love it. Very excited to finally read it eventually. I never know when things are going to get read, but I always have the most, like, optimistic heart available to say, like, you're going to read it. You'll do that. And hell if I know when it'll happen. All right, so that was my giant book stack. I can put them away now that I filmed the video about them. This was just anxiety fuel for this whole video because I was like, oh god, it's been sitting there for so long. I need to put them away. So on that note, thank you guys for coming along with me for my anxiety trip today. If you like this video, please give it a like. And if you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe. Also, if you want cool exclusive content, including a book club and early access to videos, you can consider becoming a channel member or a patron. The links for that are in the description down below. And on that note, I will see you guys soon. Bye!